Hi, welcome to Ask Les. I'm Les. I'm holding in my hand something called an ear knife. There are different types of ear knives. This one is where the air comes straight out from this ear knife. An ear knife is used to replace pipe with holes in it or rows of nozzles to get reduction in noise levels and also to reduce your energy, which can be anywhere from 50% to 90% energy reduction in compressed air use. So these things are pretty important. And people ask me, how do you choose an air knife? There's a few different air knife manufacturers on the market. What are the things you have to look for in choosing an air knife? So here's the answers to those questions. First of all, the material and the treatment of that material on the ear knife. If you look at the one I have in my hand, it has a nice gold color. This is an aluminum ear knife that's been anodized. Any ear knife that's not anodized, if you look at bare aluminum, after 1 year in a factory environment, it doesn't look too good. Just try to imagine putting non-anodized aluminum siding on your house. It's just not going to be, it's just not the right thing to do. So having an ear knife that's not anodized really kind of makes no sense in a factory environment. So look at the treatment of the ear knife, what they're doing for it. Secondly, the internals. Inside the ear knife, which basically consists of a body and a cap, you have a shim that maintains the gap where the air comes out. If the shim is, say, made of plastic, that plastic isn't going to hold long. It's subjected to airflow all day long. If there's any dirt or any moisture in that airflow at any point, that shim's going to wear out pretty fast. So Nextflow in particular uses a stainless steel shim. Stainless steel material will last a lot longer. So look at the material that's used inside the ear knife. Noise level. It's really quite interesting when people tell us that our air knives are so quiet compared to other ones that they've seen. We've often wondered why, but I'll be explaining why later. But air knives are meant to reduce noise levels as much as they are meant to reduce energy. So you should test them, see what kind of noise level you get from an air knife. And finally, performance. How well does an air knife really perform? So as I mentioned just previously, we wonder why people like our air knives so much. Which of course is very nice that they like our air knives. So we did some testing. What we found is that the force per CFM is virtually the same across all manufacturers of compressed or operated air knives for this particular type of air knife where the air comes out straight. Older style air knives have the air coming out and bending, going around the Coanda angle. They're not as efficient as far as force per CFM is concerned. What you want is you want high force with as little amount of compressed air as possible, because the less compressed air you use, the more energy you're saving. And again, what we found is that across all manufacturers, the force per CFM is the same. However, what's really quite interesting is that if you hook up a Nextflow air knife and compare it to another air knife, what we found is that the Nextflow air knife produces the same force with the same air consumption at 60 pounds pressure versus another unit which had to use 80 pounds pressure for the same force and the same air consumption. So it's quite interesting. If you actually take and replace another air knife with the Nextflow one, just directly replace it, don't adjust pressures or anything, you'll find that the Nextflow one produces a lot more force, but will also use more air. But you can actually dial back that pressure using a regulator to 60 pounds, and it will use this, get the same force and use the same amount of air as a competitive unit. But what's interesting is that to produce 60 pounds pressure of compressed air from a compressor uses much less energy than it takes to produce 80 pounds pressure from that compressor. So intrinsically, there's an improved efficiency with this particular design. But check it for yourself. Check all these particulars. Look at the material and the treatment on the material. Check what's inside the air knife. Is it plastic? Is it stainless steel? What's being used? Check the noise level. And by all means, compare performance. So if you have any other questions concerning compressed air blow-off, compressed air cooling, or compressed air conveying, ask less.